Hello guys and welcome to AI Sciences. Today we are going to learn what is Binance Trading Bot and we are going to build a complete Binance Trading Bot. So we will start with an overview of Binance. We will look what are WebSocket connections and we will make some orders by using our bot. And finally, we will add some conditions on which our bot will be working. So let's go towards the practice. And by the way, I am Sajad Mustafa, your instructor from AI Sciences. If you're a beginner in artificial intelligence domain, you're more than welcome over our channel. We have a lot of stuff available for you guys. Here you can see this is our YouTube channel, and we also have links will be available in the description. We also have complete courses available on Udemy for you guys. So welcome. Okay, so what we are going to do today is, if you guys don't have your accounts on Binance, I would recommend you to make your accounts on Binance, and you have to have a little bit of knowledge of crypto trading. I'm not saying blockchain, but crypto trading. So if you have a little bit of know-how of Binance, it will be great. Okay, so if we go to any Binance website and you click on, let's say, any coin, let's say Bitcoin. Okay, so you go over there and a chart will be displayed over here that will show how trades are going on. It is being loaded and it will take a few seconds. Here you can see a lot of trading options are available, and here it is an important information. Let me open it up in a bigger screen. Yeah, you can see that. Okay, so these things are called candles, right? So it shows that how trading is being done on this specific coin, right? We are talking about Bitcoin. So if I move my cursor over here, you can see a lot of options are being changed over here. Here you can see that high value, low value, and closing value and opening value and stuff like that, right? You can see that it is being changed. So our goal is to read these values, closing values, and higher value, lower value. We have to read these values, and then we have to set a threshold. Whenever this coin touches a certain threshold, let's say $50,000, sell my coins, or whenever it touches $40,000, buy coins for me, right? And buy this much quantity of coins for me. So this is something that we want to do today. So and here you also have different options. You can have a 15-minute charts. I mean, you can have even 1 minute chart as well. So what we will be doing today is we'll be working on 1 minute chart that has a lot of readings in it. So let's go towards our code. Here are some libraries that you may want to install. If you don't have it, I have already installed it. By the way, you will find this code in a link that is available in description. So you may have to install these libraries, and you just have to run this cell. Since I have already installed these libraries, so I don't have to do that. Okay, then we have imported a few libraries: WebSocket, JSON, Binance exceptions in order to deal with errors. Then we have Binance client, in order to create a client. Later on, I'll be telling you what are the usages of these libraries, and you can get rid of it, no problem, right? And now, next thing, first of all, you have to define a symbol, right? What is the symbol in which you are going to trade? For me, it is for USDT. For is like for tube. Here is a coin called for tube, right? So I want to trade for tube in USDT. So here are tons of coins available. You can choose any symbol in which you have currency available in your account, right? So I just chose, for no reason, I just chose for tube, right? So you can see that it is FOR, ignore the slash, and then USDT, and you have to write exactly that thing over here, for USDT over here, right? Then you have to create a socket. Now what is socket? This web socket will deal with this thing socket. So if I've also provided you a link to a WebSocket client documentation. You can read this documentation for further knowledge. Uh, for now, I can tell you that this socket will read we will read some information from this address, and in short, this information, the information of these candles will be available over there, right? So it has only two parameters: one, symbol, which symbol do you want to read. I mean, which currency do you want to read. Symbol we have already defined over here. And then how frequently do you want to read. So if you want to read a candle line of every 1 minute, you have to write k line underscore 1 minute. If you have to read candle line of every 3 minute, you can write it something like that, right? So I want to read every 1 minute of candle line. Then the important thing, we have to create a client. Now client is sort of an alien, or you can say client is basically a bot that will make trading on your behalf. What do we mean by that? So in client, what is client? Client is coming from here, binance.client import client, right? So client, we have to pass two parameters, API key and secret key. These are the confidential values of your account. That's why I have not written it over here. I have written it in these variables, and from where you can get these values. If you go to your Binance account, and you go back, you go to this your profile button. Here you can see that there is an option of API management. So if you go to API management, you will get following two things, API key and secret key. You just have to paste those things over here inside a string, and that's it. Your client will be created, right? In my case, client has already been created, so that I don't have to show my API key and secret key to everyone. So that's why I have already created my client. So let's say let's play around with our client. So let's say client dot get let's say get my account status, right? Which type of account I have a normal account, right? And then let's say get account, um, let's say get account. Okay, so it will get me how many coins of which currency do I have. You can see, I don't know which coin is this. I don't have any of this one, and I don't have any of this one as well. I have a few of 4 tube coins. I'm not saying that it is going to work a lot. It is just for the sake of example. I have a few of 4 tube coins, and you can search it over here, and I'll be having a few values, a few non-zero values over there, right? I don't want to spend much time on finding 4 tube into it. So this is sort of an example how you can play around with your client. So and by the way, we are working in Google Colab environment, and a beautiful thing over here is you don't have to make any installments inside your system. And one more thing, if you hit control space, it will give you a lot of suggestions. Like, let's say if I write get and then control space, you can see it is giving me all of the functions that start with get, right? So I can I can get my trade, or I can get margin symbol, and a lot of things. So let's move on. So what do we want to do? We want to create a socket listener. So let's say I'll say WebSocket equals to WebSocket. Yeah, you're right. I need this WebSocket app. And then what do we want to do is, sorry, I have to, WebSocket app is nothing. I have to get this from WebSocket. So I'll say WebSocket app. Yeah, third one. And then I'll pass two things. First is socket itself. Now what is socket? Socket is this listener, this address, right? I'm passing it over here as first parameter. And then I'll say on open, call a function called open, right? So on open, I'll call on open, and then on close, I'll call a function called on close, and then on, let's say, error, I'll call a function called on error. These functions I'll be defining later. These functions will be defined later, don't worry. So on message, this is the most important function, on message, right? So in on message, I'll be calling, let's say, on message. Now what are these functions? On open function will be these are the callback functions. On open function will be called whenever a socket will be opened, and same goes for the on close function, when a socket will be closed. On error function will be caused whenever there will be an error, whenever an error will be produced, right? And this is the most important function, on message function, right? On message function will be called whenever there will be any change in candle, right? You can see that it is changing every time, every second. So whenever there will be any change over there, on message function will be called, or you can say a message will be sent. Okay, so one more thing, we want to run the socket, and let's say run forever, right? So how can we do that? Run forever, right? Okay, so before running this WebSocket, let's let's do one thing. Let's define a few functions. So let's say on open, a few functions that we have already written. So let's say on open, we'll receive a WebSocket over here, and here I'll say just print connection opened, right? And same goes out for on close. I'll say on close, connection closed, right? And same goes out for on error, not same but a little bit similar thing. So on error, what we will do is we will pass two things into it. One, a WebSocket, and the other thing is error itself, right? So we'll say print what? Okay, so we'll say here is an error. Which error do we have? Okay, print this error. Now this error is coming in parameters, right? Okay, so we have defined a few functions over here, and then let's define on message function as well, which is the most important function. So on message, we'll be having a WebSocket object itself, and here initially let's just say yeah, it also receives a message as well. Okay, so let's just print message over here, right? Nothing, just a message over here. So yeah, we are good to go. So what we have done is we have created a few callback functions. These functions will be called whenever any of the event will happen, right? So let me run this cell to make sure, yeah, we don't have any error. Let me run this one now. Okay, so it says that WE is not defined. Yeah, I have a typo. It's WS actually. WebSocket. Okay, so it is running. You can see that connection is opened. It is coming from here, right? So connection was opened, and now you can see that it is printing messages, right? These are the messages. You can see that it is a K line, and its symbol is for USD. You remember we have created this symbol for it is for the for tube. You can also create it for the most famous coins like Bitcoin and something like that. And then we also have time, starting time, and then interval, lower value, opening value, closing value, and everything, right? So it has a message has been sent 3 times yet. Okay, so let's stop it, and let's do another thing. Now let's convert this message. This message is basically a string. So what do we want to do is we want to convert this string into dictionary so that we can work with it. So let's say candle data equals to JSON loads, right? That's the function. No, yeah, JSON loads, and here I'll say message, right? And then I'll say my closing rate equals to candle data, right? And in candle data, since we have a lot of data, so I'll say in K, right? And then I'll say in C, go to C, right? And just since I'm only interested in closing rate, I'm not interested in anything else, so I just want to print the closing rates. So I'll say print the closing rates only, and let's test it out, right? So yeah, print closing rate. Okay, let's run it again. Now instead of printing whole bunch of line, it should only print the closing rate. um oh, we should convert it into float as well. So let's, unless it runs, meanwhile let's convert it into floating point value, right? So that we can compare it later. uh, why do we want to compare it? I'll let you know in a while. Okay, so it is still taking a little bit of while in running. mm, yeah, rather than waiting for running it, let it run, let it execute. Meanwhile, let's do a few more things. Okay, so let's say if let's say okay, so here's an error. You can see that JSON loads is not defined. Now from where it is being printed? It is printed from this function. You can see that on error function it says here is an error, right? An error name is printed, so it says that JSON loads is not a function. Why? um oh, so it is not JSON underscore loads, it is JSON dot loads. Let me run it again. Invalid syntax because I've written F over here. Okay, let's do it again. Now let's run it. Hopefully it will be running fine now. Okay, meanwhile let's code a little bit. So let's say if, right, if closing rate is greater than, right, or equal to, by the way, you can see that the closing rate is 0.571 of for tube that we have selected, and then again it is in second candle it is again 0.571, and it will keep running. I'll not disturb it, right? So let's say if closing rate is greater than or equal to limit, right? Now what is limit? Let's define limit. Let's not define limit, let's pass it into the parameters, right? So let's say limit. Okay, so if closing rate is greater than limit, what do we want to do? We want to sell the coins, right? And else if, or LF closing rate is less than equal to limit, what do we want to do? We want to buy coins, right? Simple. Okay, and meanwhile you can see that we have even more readings over there. If you go to the actual coin, our for tube coin, let's make sure it is reading the correct value. So where is the for tube coin? For where is the for tube coin? Yeah, here it is. You can see that its value is 0.574 right now, and you can see that 5714. We are reading it as 5714. Yeah, quite right. So there are some time constraints over here. So a little very minor error in pointing floating values over there. Okay, so back to these if conditions. These if conditions are sort of the heart of what we are doing today. So if closing rate is greater than a limit, close it. Actually, it let me call it sell limit, not only limit, and let me call it buy limit, right? So we have two values over here, sell limit and buy limit, right? Okay, So we will provide two limits, and we will say, okay, if closing rate is greater than my this limit, sell my coins, I've got enough profit. If closing rate is less than my buy limit, then okay, rate is good, buy some coins for me. So what we have to do is we have to let me close this execution. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to write orders. We have to write an order method so that we can make orders. So let me say order, and in this method what we want to do is we have to do a few things. So let's say first of all I have to pass side to it. Side means if you want to buy or if you want to sell, right? So side, buy side or sell side, then quantity, how many or how much coins do you want to sell or buy, and then symbol, right? And in our case we already have defined our symbol over here, right? So we will write this um, as a parameter over here, right? So here we go. And it's quite simple, don't worry about it. So let's say try, we will be using an API that we have which is already available over here in our client, right? So we will say try. Why try? Because we want to do exception and handling over here. So we'll say order client, right, dot create order, yeah, this one. And here I'll say my symbol equals to what? Symbol equals to this one, right? So my symbol equals to symbol, and then my side equals to side, which is coming from this parameter, and then my type of order will be what? It would be so what type of order am I going to make? um, so I want to make a market order, right? So um, I'll say market over here, market. By the way, let me import some enums that we initially removed from here. It helps us out in if we have some spelling doubts. So client dot, here I'll say order type market. Yeah, this is what we want to search. And then again finally quantity equals to what? Quantity. Perfect, looks fine. So we will try this, otherwise exception will be thrown. Okay, so accept Binance exception API. Okay, Binance exception as E, and here I just want to print this E, right? So yeah, that's it. That's pretty. We are almost done, and now we just want to call this. We just want to call this function, right? And here, let's say, uh, okay. So here we want to sell the coins. So I'll say inside I'll say um, sell, and in quantity I'll say sell, let's say 100 coins, and I don't have to pass symbol because it is already defined above. And goes out for same the thing goes out for this function called over here. We just have to uh, replace the cell with buy parameter, right? And also how much quantity do you want to buy? Let's say I want to buy I don't want to buy 100, I want to buy let's say 200 coins if rate is less than some buy limit, right? So yeah, we're pretty much done. Actually, let me make these parameters, let me write these parameters over here, right? So I'll say my sell limit is 0.055, and my buy limit is 0.045. Okay, so let me run it again. Yeah, so I have now sell limit as well and buy limit as well, right? So also, whenever it comes to this function, it should print the closing rate. Yeah, it should print the closing rate over here, and it should also say um, message received, right? Yeah, yeah, I think we are almost done, and let's run it. I hope you're getting the idea behind it. I'll also repeat the idea. Let me make sure there is no error over here. Yeah, looks like there is no error. Okay, meanwhile it is running, let me tell you a few things that we have already done. Okay, so whenever it receives a message, or it receives any fluctuation over the candle, it comes to this function, right? And in this function, we are just formatting the data into our desired format, and you can play around with this data. You can also set a constraint, like if time is greater than a certain time, then do the trade or something like that, right? So okay, so yeah, we have an error. It says that local variable closing rate referenced before assignment. Oh yeah, we are creating it over here, and we are using it even before we have initiated it. So let me again run it. um, yeah, so we had an error. I hope this will be resolved now. Okay, so what we are doing, that we are just formatting the data, and then we are saying, okay, if closing rate, right, just a stock market, in a stock market we have a closing rate. So if a closing rate is greater than my sell limit, right, if a closing rate exceeds my expectation, then do what? Then make a sell order, right? And if it is less than the closing rate, then do a buy order for me, right? Simple as that. And here you can see that um, you can see that uh, a message received, closing rate is 0.5739. And yeah, we want to do one more thing. We want to know in which order is it going to make. So I'll say it is making a sell right order, and here I'll say it is going to make a what order? Not buy, but buy order, right? So now I'll be having a better idea which block it is running. And you can add whatnot over here. You can add time constraints over here. You can set limits on closing rate, on opening rate, and you can play with the dozens of coins that are available over here. Okay, so what is actually happening? A connection opened. Let me stop it, and let's analyze what has been done yet, right? So a connection is opened, then message received means a fluctuation is over there, and a closing rate is 0.5739, and it triggers a sell order. Why? Closing rate is 0.5739, and what is our sell limit? It is 0.55. So closing rate is obviously above than this, 0.55. So it executed this cell, right? When it executed this cell, it says sell order, right? And then it orders this function. It goes to this function, order function, and we have an error over there. We will resolve this error, no problem. Okay, so it goes over there. So it says that, okay, client um, order, create order, symbol equals to symbol, side equals side, type equals to client order type, and let's see uh, which error are we making. Okay, so it has a constraint over there. In symbol you have to write in capital letters, right? Here you can see that in simple we haven't write in capital letters, so you can do two things. You can capitalize it over here. I mean, you can do something like dot capitalize, right? And I think it will work fine. I hope so. So let's make only order. Let's write only order function. Let's run only order function over here, right? So let's see it makes an order or not. Again, why it is making this error? Okay, so let's write it directly over here. So let's say for USDT, right? Let me. So I've just run. I've just written the symbol name over here. Let me run it, and yeah, it works fine. There is an error, but don't worry about it. I'll explain it to you. So okay, so it is saying that your filter is failure, and which filter? Minimum notational filter, which means that you cannot make an order which is less than $10. 100 for tube coins are less than $10, right? So okay, okay, I'll make an order of let's say 1,000 for coins. Don't worry, I don't have those many, right? So you can see that again there is an error. It says that account has insufficient balance for requested action. The point is, it displays error whatever mistake are you making, or whatever constraint do you have. So yeah, it will work perfectly fine now. Rather than purchasing 100 coins, I'll say purchase 1,000 coins for me. Obviously it will display an error like this, but our goal is completed. We wanted to build a function like that, and it is working fine. So if your account will be having enough balance, it will work completely fine on it. My other account has balance, but I cannot show that account over here. That's why I'm using this test account that I've just created, right? So again, I've run this cell, and it will be creating WebSocket. It will be connecting WebSocket, and it will be making some connections, and then it will be opening the connection. Then it will be coming to on message function. Here you can see that. So closing date is this, sell order is triggered, and account has insufficient balance. So guys, this was the main idea, and you can let it run for over a night or even a week or something like that. So your bot is created. Mainly your bot is created. Now you all you have to do is two things. You have to write your API key over here, secret key over here, and you have to have enough balance in your account, unlike me, right? So guys, that's about it. If you like this video, please follow our channel, and we will be making a lot of more content on crypto trading on our channel, right? Thank you.